But there is so much more to just riding and the difficulty of riding during a rally. It's something that is unique to the world of rallying. So I really like that. Yeah, of course, there's unfinished business.
Hi, Ashish. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for lending us your precious time and talking to us. You are going for Dakar, and I'm very excited to ask you a few questions about that and about many other things that you've been up to. So, first of all, welcome.
Thank you so much, Akash. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and my first question is obviously you are one of the very few Indian athletes to have the privilege to, to go to Dakar, which is famously known as one of the toughest races around the globe. So how does it feel to be, part of that small selection of Indian athletes?
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle and a huge task to just get to the start line of the Dakar. So indeed, it's a privilege. It's something that has been in the works for 2 years. My last stint was 21, and it's taken 2 years to put all the pieces of the puzzle together again to be finally able to line up again. So yeah, definitely feels good. A really good feeling about it.
Nice. Before we get into the meat of the matter, I would like to know, how did you know that riding off-road or dirt biking was your calling? How did you come to that this is where you want to spend most of your time, this is what you like, and when did you come to that realization?
To be honest, I don't believe in callings. I think our our life really provides us with a lot of opportunities through the way. It's a matter of if you want to take those opportunities and do something different. So I wouldn't call this really my calling or such. It was something that I chanced upon. I like sports in general, and I have been involved in sports since I was a kid. Playing different sports, representing the district and the state in various different sports. So this is something that I liked. I tried, and then I wanted to pursue it. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't really think it's a calling. Maybe 10 years down the line, something else comes along. It's generally a matter of taking a leap of faith and then seeing how things work out.
Okay, amazing. And you went to Dakar earlier as well, and this is your second time. So when you qualified after the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, so talk us through, how difficult was clearing that stage, and did you ever feel like, that maybe it won't happen, maybe it's too difficult? How do you prepare for that mentally as well as physically?
So the preparation is around the year, rather, the last 2 years. Again, as soon as I came back from the Dakar, I took a small little break, and then we were already working on the next project. Um, I don't think I was worried really about the difficulty level of the event as such. I mean, of course, Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge is one of the most difficult rounds on the calendar, being all completely dunes for 5 days. But there is so much more to just riding and the difficulty of riding during a rally. You also need your equipment to, stick with you through the 5 days, and many things can go wrong. Really, rallies, that's the beautiful part about, and also the difficult part about rallies, that a lot of things have to come together. It's just not, the riding effort and the difficulty level of just riding the motorcycle.
Navigation is also a huge challenge in rallies like these because you have a vast open landscape and no roads as such, unlike a track where you know where you have to go.
Yeah.
So how is that, how difficult is it to adapt to a route? How does one develop, the mental gymnastics to adapt to such short notice changes and remembering the route and then also following it while you're doing, very fast speeds on dunes?
Yeah, firstly, it's like any skill that you have to practice. Reading the road book and navigation is generally a skill that you need to practice. I've been fortunate enough with my marine background. I have the basics already sorted out. I didn't have to spend a lot of time understanding compass headings and stuff like that. And again, in the road book, in general, there's always 4 or 5 different clues that you need to follow. You don't need to pick up on each and everything at each and every waypoint. So it's an acquired skill. You practice. There are tracks ahead of you. It really comes down to, how do you verify that you are following the correct track or not. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of practice, and it's something that is unique to the world of rallying. So I really like that.
And this is your second outing for Dakar. So, how are you approaching it this time? What is different, especially considering that you were alone the last time around? This time you have a team. So, what is different apart from that? Has that made it a little easier or more difficult? So, and are you approaching this time with like a vengeance? Because last time around you had an unfortunate accident. So, are you going back with a vengeance that this time you will conquer it?
I wouldn't use the word vengeance, but yeah, of course, there's unfinished business. And yeah, I'm feeling good about returning. I have the support of a team this time. Although I eventually want to return to Malimoto, I truly feel that's the real spirit of the rally. But yes, having a team makes it a little bit easier in terms of also, taking a little bit more risks while riding, because if something unfortunate happens to your motorcycle, you know that you have mechanics behind you who can fix the motorcycle for you. So yeah, when you're in Malimoto, you're a lot more conservative because you got to come back and then fix what you have damaged. So yes, I'm really excited about going back. Probably wouldn't use the word vengeance, but I want to really enjoy the rally. This is something that generally doesn't happen on the first outing because there are so many unknowns, right? And there's apprehension and anxiety, and also you don't know what to expect. And now you have a little taste of what the rally is about, and how things go, how things move for the 14 days. So yes, I want to first and foremost, enjoy riding a motorcycle. That's how I would put it.
How difficult is it for a person who's just entering the rallying scene if they don't have a support? What are the challenges that you face apart from that, apart from the obvious things?
I think where we are right now, firstly, motorcycles itself is a big challenge. We don't get dirt bikes in India. That in itself makes it challenging for the sport to grow, let alone an individual, but just for the sport to grow and the ecosystem to be built. The basic equipment that is the motorcycle isn't available that easily. And from there on, the financial aspect is also really, really huge because going international and racing rallies is so expensive. And before you start approaching sponsors, you need to prove yourself. So there needs to be some sort of financial backup that you should have in order to be able to prove yourself, and then probably start approaching brands, and then they will support you.
Okay, and you mentioned about the motorcycles that they're not available. So can you first tell us about the motorcycle that you will be riding, and tell us how it's different from, let's say, for a normal person, how is it different from, let's say, a normal ADV that we see on roads?
Well, firstly, a dirt bike in itself that I use here for training, which is your normal run-of-the-mill dirt bike, either a motocross bike or enduro bike, is so different from an adventure motorcycle. It's lighter, really light, and the power to weight is, of course, insane compared to what you have on the ADVs. The bikes that we use for rallies is an evolution of the enduro motorcycle, further, you know, basically improved for long range and also more power. So the motorcycle I'll be riding is a rally replica KTM. The chassis is built for rallying. It's built for long distances. It can carry close to 30 liters of fuel. So it also makes it that much more heavier. But again, it's got upwards of 70 horsepower, and it's made for a specific purpose, and that is rallying. So yeah, it's one of a kind to have, and it's expensive.
Very expensive, I assume. And talking about expenses, how expensive is it to take part in rallies, especially something like a Dakar? So how expensive is it, and how difficult or easy it is to find sponsors? Did you have a lot of support this time around compared to last time?
Yeah, definitely. Cost-wise, if you put together like a Dakar campaign, which involves a qualifier round as well, you need to do one of the qualifier rounds. I think the whole project for the year will cost somewhere close to a crore. The Dakar in itself will cost about 70 to 75 lakh rupees, and then you've got the remaining money for the WRC round, which will be a qualifier. So yeah, it's an expensive proposition, and that also adds to the pressure, because you basically prepare for this one event for so long, and you put everything into it. So there's always a lot hanging on the line when it comes to it. So yeah, but coming to sponsors, yes, definitely this year there's been a lot of support from homegrown brands. Especially Rhinox, Rise Moto signed with me almost like Rhinox signed with me almost 2.5 years ago. Rise signed with me earlier this year. So yeah, there's more growing support. And then there have always been brands that have worked with me over the years, like Slipstream Performance and our local brands like Big Bad Bikes, Moto Usher, Lazy as Bikers, who have always been, you see them at IBW, and they are the known names in the motorcycling community. And apart from them, then also there are brands who have joined me just for a short period, which is actually just the Dakar. There's Wanderlooms, there's a Dubai-based marketing company called 11777. So yeah, it's pretty good to have all these brands supporting the dream.
Okay, lovely. And when you're not out rallying, what does a day in the life of Ashish Raorane look like? What is your general routine? What do you do, on normal days?
Well, it doesn't look very different from when I'm training for the Dakar. It's pretty boring, I would say. I mean, yeah, there's some form of training every day, of course. When it's closer to season, closer to Dakar and rallies, it's the training is twice a day. Otherwise, it's once a day. And now, in the last 2 years, I've also started training other athletes and training adventure riders. So that schedule also kind of works into the day depending on how many commitments I have that day for training. But
Okay.
it kind of revolves around motorcycles.
Lovely. And I myself have had the chance to get some training from you. So I know you are a very good coach. But can you expand a little on that? How you are helping maybe other riders, training them for carrying on the torch, let's say, and preparing newer riders that can come from India and represent us on international stages. How is that happening?
Yeah, I think what's still missing in motorsport in general is, training facilities and also coaches. For instance, if you wanted to pick up any other sport in India, like the popular sports, let's say cricket, even badminton or table tennis, it would be really easy for you to just Google, and you would find training academies around. You could find coaches around, and you could really find a coach that works for you. That fits your style. But unfortunately, we don't have those facilities or that luxury. I would say the longevity in the sport is not kind of built yet and not considered. And this is what I'm trying to do with younger athletes, especially where don't look at a yearly or a 2 yearly. I want to do this national championship. There has to be a longer zoom out and put together a 5 to 8 year plan, make a career plan out of it. And similarly for the Dakar, when the first thought of Dakar came to my mind, I had a 5 year plan. It was not like I thought about it and then okay, I want to go. Um, no matter if you have the money or not, it doesn't work that way, right? You need to basically earn those steps and then do it the right way. and of course, I want to do as many Dakars as possible. And I know that there is a lot of improvement to be made in my performance at the Dakar, and that can only be achieved by doing a certain event, consistently. And for that, again, I need to create an ecosystem that affords me to do that. And yeah, those plans are in place, and let's see how they work out. And in the meantime, yeah, I also want to build on Office Racing, which is my coaching academy, and hopefully that will help athletes also to kind of have a long term view on how they want to do this.
Okay, lovely. Is there a dream motorcycle or a car that you have in mind, and have you bought it already, or are you planning to get towards it?
Okay, so believe it or not, I'm not emotional about motorcycles or cars. I like a motorcycle that fits the purpose. Right now, the rally replica is that motorcycle. It fits the purpose. I love the way it rides and handles. And apart from that, any enduro motorcycle does the trick. And I'm not really a car guy, but I if I had to really like pick one car, it would be a 91 Porsche Cabriolet. Uh,
Oh,
like a really
lovely choice.
old. I love those old school Porsches. So yeah, if I had to pick one, that'd probably be it.
Lovely choice. And Ashish, if you could, somehow using a time machine, if you could go back 10 years and talk to your younger self, is there anything that you would like to tell yourself, 10 years ago, or give any piece of advice?
That's a tough one, but I don't think so. I think you know things pan out the way they are supposed to. I always tell people that at any given point in life, there's if you talk about health, money, and time, there's always one missing, which is a good thing, because you need to work for the third one. And I think that's probably the flavor of life. If you got all three at the same time, then life probably would be too boring.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And I'll just last question. Could you tell our viewers, when the 24 season is starting, and when do you leave for starting of the season?
Right. So I'll leave on the 31st of December, and on the 1st of January, we will drive to Alula, which is the start camp for the Dakar. And for the next 3-4 days, it's testing the motorcycles, because the motorcycles have been shipped from Barcelona on the 2nd of December, and we will recover all the equipment and the motorcycles on the 1st. We got a couple of days to test, and the rally kicks off on the 5th of January all the way to the 19th. So 2 weeks of absolute mayhem.
All the best for those 2 weeks and the days before and after that. And I'm really hoping to, talking to you again after the rally and getting a follow-up conversation. So keep rocking.
Thank you so much, Akash. Thank you.